more informal with 100 for Trees than we are with the podcast. All right. Okay, let me just make sure this is all working, y'all. Up. I still don't have it going on mine, on my Facebook page. There we go. All right, cool. Hey, tree huggers, tree lovers. How are y'all doing today? Welcome to Tuesday. We have an amazing guest today. But before we bring her on, y'all know the lowdown. I got to tell you about 100 for Trees first. So 100 for Trees, I am Suzanne. I'm the founder of 100 for Trees, and I love trees. Doesn't mean I'm an expert on trees. I just love trees. So in this journey of loving trees, I wanted to give back. I wanted to somehow help. So what can one person do? Well, I decided through my running that I could run to raise awareness and funds to plant trees. And that's what I do. I run 100 miles every month to raise awareness and funds to plant trees. And we've planted lots and lots of trees, and we have run lots and lots of miles. So if you want to be a part of that, you can hop onto my website anytime or reach out here on Facebook. The website is www.100fortrees.com. There is a section on there where you can donate. And there's also a section called the interview section where you can go on there, because what we also do here is we interview people, because I have met some amazing people during this journey, and I found that they have amazing stories. And are you doing the ticker thing? Is that you doing that? No? Oh, okay. That must have been me. All right. So Joey's helping me in the back end. I'm trying to figure out. He's on his lunch break, so he's trying to go over there and help me out. So on this journey, I'm running ultras, I'm meeting people, and I've met some really cool people. And if you're an ultra runner, you know what it's like to be out there running miles and miles and miles on the trails. And you get to know somebody who ends up being this angel sent to you to run with you that you never dreamed of. And then boom, there they are. And these people have amazing stories. So I followed some of these people, and this week is no different. We have Jessica Smith. Now, Jessica Smith, before she comes on, I have to tell you, she's an ultra runner. She's also a grandmother who does not look like a grandmother at all. So whatever image you have of a grandmother in your head is going to go poof out the window as soon as you see her. She has an amazing inspirational story that ties in some tragedy and trauma that she has overcome growing up, and she used running and her passion to carry her through that. And without me messing up the story, I want to bring her on. And here comes to the stage, Jessica Smith. Hi, Jessica. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know everyone here is excited to hear from you, so I'm going to get quiet here after I ask you a question. But before we get going, I just want to say thank you for being here, and thank you everyone who's on here right now supporting. Jess had some really cool things to say as I asked her about her story, and I was wondering maybe a good place to start is a prescription that you were prescribed that was passed to you by the physician that had to do with well, I don't want to ruin it. Do you remember that story that you started off telling me?
I do.
That's
Uh,
an awesome story. So wherever you want to start on that, I just would love to hear that.
okay. So I'm going to take a step back from
Sure.
kind of start at the beginning. I had just turned 31, and my little one was about 2. I was still carrying a lot of baby weight, and my birthday's in January, which, of course, all of the news articles, like everything is all about new year, new you, all of that. And I read an article talking about how women um in their 30s and 40s, like for every decade, they typically gain 10 pounds, and I was already 20 pounds over what I was comfortable being. So I started working out, started running, and that's when I remembered how much I loved running, the freedom that it gave me and just how it made me feel, just all of the good things. um Fast forward a few years, um I had a letter come in the mail letting me know that the person that was in prison because of my testimony, he was getting out. And through some research, I realized that he was moving 20 miles down the road from me.
Oh my gosh.
3 children.
Oh no. Where'd she go?
Oh,
Oh, there she is. Okay. We just lost you for a second. Go ahead. 20 miles down the road. Wow. Go ahead.
I had 3 children, all very little. So not only was I concerned for their safety, but I also realized I had some PTSD. And I severe depression, anxiety. I was at times could not leave my house to take my children to school, to go about doing normal daily activities. I couldn't run anymore because I was so scared. So I started going to the doctor, and this took a while because we had to figure out what antidepressants would work. When we finally got it to where like everything was working, I was able to function. I could go to Walmart and actually exit with a buggy full of groceries. I could sit down and pay my bills. I could walk outside. When I went back, he wrote me a prescription and he handed it to me and he said, "This is the only thing that will get you back to you." So I looked at that prescription and it was for a running stroller.
I love that.
Knew exactly what I needed. And my husband was still pretty early in his career, so money, we didn't have a lot of extra money, but he has this big jar that he keeps in the closet, and he always puts his extra change in there at the end of the day. And so he gave me that jar, and he's like, "Take it to the bank." So I took it to the bank and dumped it out in the little machine and deposited that money, and that's what I used to buy my running stroller. Um, my little one, like I said, was a little over 2. And so after I got everybody to school, we would go to the vet clinic there in town and park there. Everybody knew I was there. I had a 2-mile loop that was kind of out in the open, if you will, like not a lot of woods, some houses, but like I felt a very safe environment. And so that is literally how I got back on the road. Um, I did that for probably a couple of weeks. And then I would get to where, like, during the day at home, I would take her for a walk. And so that I was kind of alone, if you will. I didn't have people watching out for me. But I just got braver and braver until I was ready to take up running again at my normal time and by myself, which is early mornings while the rest of the family slept. So it,
And speaking to that real quick, you shared something with me that you had at that time, a great fear of the dark. And you even described it as almost debilitating. And yet, when was your favorite time to run?
oh, it's definitely in the dark.
Yeah.
4:30, 5 a.m. when the rest of the world is asleep. Like the birds aren't even really chirping yet. It's just so quiet and so peaceful. The sky is just this beautiful blue. Um, it's I don't know. I can't describe it, but it scares me to death. Like the even today, the sheer willpower that it takes to take that first step out of the door and actually get out and get going is so hard for me, but it is so rewarding.
Absolutely. So, can we talk to that just a little bit? So, you were speaking about being in Walmart and paying bills, and there was, you had to have medication to do what you call just normal things, and then as you processed, you began to use running. Obviously, your physician knows you well, and that began to help it. What this is that's pretty debilitating. That's pretty huge. And you even had to go to where your husband worked, and let them know, hey, I'm going to run this loop. So you had a community that was actually looking out for you to sort of be aware, almost protect you in this cocoon. do, do you feel comfortable sharing a little bit of what would cause something that traumatic, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
um, when I was 9, I was on a visitation, and the man that I was visiting, he played a father role. He sexually assaulted me, and it was in the county next to us, which is just really random that we ended up moving here. And so he moved literally right down the road from me. Um, and I had gone through counseling as a teenager to try to help deal with that. Um, I don't think that at the time that I don't think we ever get over things like that, but I do think that we heal from them. And at that point, I was not healed. And that's why him being released from prison and being moved so close to me just reopened all of those wounds. I did not realize that like everyday people could have PTSD. I thought that was something that, only our soldiers come back from war with. But literally, I had my own war going on inside my body. And that was something that, unless it happens to you, you cannot understand how debilitating it is. Um, to be in Walmart and have a buggy full of groceries and this toddler, and all of a sudden something triggers you and you can't complete what you're doing. I literally would have to pick Sarah up and go back to the car and just leave everything there and try it another day. Sitting down to pay bills, I didn't know it at the time, but because of all of the emotions inside, like just those things, simple things of having to make the decision to pay the bill and write the check and get it in the mailbox. It was it was overwhelming at times, and that seems like such a simple task. But I also remember standing at the door to go outside, and our kitchen had big, um, well, the doors there were just glass. There was no nothing. It was, and I remember just standing there, kind of hiding as much as I could because I needed to go outside, but I wasn't sure what was around. Even though it was broad daylight, it was my own house, my own yard. I was scared somebody was waiting around the corner to come out and get me when I stepped outside. Um, and that that's irrational, like that no one is there, but to tell your brain that you're okay and you're safe, it just, it would not click. It didn't click until I started running again, and literally just running out of the fear. Like, I don't know how else to describe it other than that, running out of the fear.
Wow. Oh my gosh, Jessica, that's so powerful. I want to thank you for even sharing that much. So, I wow, that's so powerful. Oh, where'd she go? Oh no, we lost her. Oh, I think she popped out. We'll have to bring her back in here. I think she may have lost connection. Oh, here she comes. Okay, there she is. All right. Hey. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got sound. Good. Yay. Well, I want to maybe create a little bit of a timeline for the audience here. So this event, this very traumatic event where you were sexually assaulted by a father-like figure when you were very young on a visitation in someone's hands that you're supposed to trust in that parent role. Um, and then we fast forward a little bit, and despite whatever help, treatment, therapy is going on, obviously that's pretty powerful. And so the fear is still there. There you testified against this gentleman, correct? And then he went to prison, and then he is now out of prison and literally moves in your backyard. It feels like. Um, I can only imagine those feelings, and I think anyone who even has not had that can relate to. I mean, if y'all have had a panic attack out there or some kind of feeling of just not being able to move, and you can physically still move, just like you're saying, your brain is telling you, go, but your body is not. There's a huge amount of trauma that's sitting in there. So you begin to run, and you feel like, and you were kind of forcing yourself, it sounds like, to get out there and run. Can you kind of talk to me about that, like that just getting out there and running, even though everything is telling you don't do that, or just locking you up?
Um, So I did have a little bit of help, um,
Okay.
and that was my husband. He was very encouraging, very understanding, very loving, through that time. And, um, for us to be relatively young and for him to be able to have just, even though he didn't understand, he still had understanding and compassion. And so he would actually get up and, he would get in the truck or whatever it was, and he would drive behind me. Um, there's probably many, many Sunday school lessons that he read while driving behind me, because he was driving, you know, because I was in the dark, and that way I could have the headlights. And um, that gave me a lot of confidence to keep going. And so eventually it was like I would only have him take me so far, and then I would go the rest of the way by myself. But initially he would get me, because we live in a very rural area, and so in order for me to run from home into town, I had several miles of just tree lined county roads. And anybody that has even just taken a walk out in trees knows that, like, these tiny little squirrels sound like 300-pound men.
Right. It's a Sasquatch.
Oh, scared of out there. There's, not really, but in my mind, there was a lot of things to be scared of, like a tree that was dead and had fallen over and was leaning on its neighbor. To me, I would think that was a man resting there waiting. So that's why having the light kind of illuminate the things, so that whatever my head thought I was seeing or hearing, my eyes could tell me otherwise. And so he was a huge, huge help in getting me going again. And so I just kind of shortened his following, if you will, and until I was ready to really be on my own. So he had a huge hand in that.
That is such a cool story, Jessica. There's like, I mean, I'm sure there's people, women who are like, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful," and it is. That is amazing. That is, and that's that's the beauty of men. That's such the we love when men they love even when they can step into that role and they can help us like that. So kudos to your husband and men out there who behave that way. That it's so interesting. Here you have one, you have a man who completely broke down your trust and really tried to hurt you and scar you, and then you've got another man who stepped up and was a part of that healing and whatever you needed, even if he didn't understand it. And I mean, that right there is a whole interview within itself, you know.
He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah. I'd say so, yeah, absolutely, and giving you your coin jar. We forgot the coin jar part too. Very cool, yeah, so we like him. So, so also tell us a little more about. Okay, so you're going through this process, and oh, okay. Well, let's go a little bit more into the story. So you're beginning to run more, and this gentleman is still, this person is still living close to you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you kind of continue on the story, the timeline of that for us?
Um, there's some of that I think don't really remember on purpose, but
Yeah.
he he lived there for a couple of years. But throughout that process, I was able to get back on the road. I had a little fitness studio, and I was, going to it early in the morning to have my little boot camp classes and things like that. So I really and truly, once I was able to start running again, like really running like I used to, um, I took all of my power back and really just um, did not allow him to have that kind of control over me anymore. And then I got a call one day. I was actually in my studio, my fitness studio, that he had passed. And so literally all of that was gone. Any of the fear that I had, protectiveness, because like I said, I had little girls. And so all of that was just gone. Um, it's like the Lord took care of it.
That is, it's almost like I don't have words for that. It's so, uh, as it should be, as it just naturally, it's like it naturally just occurred. I think for people who are really gonna resonate with you, I love that you shared all that fear just went away. Can you speak to that just a little bit? Was it something that happened like that, or was it subtle, or did you just start noticing things? Can you speak a little bit to that part of it?
I think really I'd started noticing things, that I wasn't fearful stepping out of my house anymore. Um, Whether it was just to get in my car and drive to town or to go for a run, um, the fear just really, it wasn't a strong presence anymore. Um, and I don't know that there was like really a time when it was like a switch had flipped. But I do know, um, and this sounds bad, but his passing brought a lot of closure. Just,
Mhm.
um, I knew that he no longer had opportunities to hurt anyone. Um, I no longer had to fear, what, because being so close, occasionally I would go through his town and I would not stop at the gas station. Or if my husband was driving, we stopped at the gas station. Like, I was like, quick, don't go in. Like, we have to, just because I did not ever want to run into him.
Mhm.
And so there is a lot of different fears there that I don't know that I really at the time understood. Um, I don't know that I'll ever really understand all of it, but it just slowly started to become less and less of a controlling thing until it was gone. It was not an issue anymore.
Wow, you mentioned a couple of things. So you talked earlier about going into Walmart, paying bills, getting gas. That's how strong this feeling, this event, this trauma, this PTSD, that's how strong it is, that these daily things that you even said yourself, I remember on our phone call, you said these were normal things that I was having difficulty with. And so, yes, a lot of people would perceive that as normal. And for that to be compromised, and so all these normal things that you do daily, all day long, there's an emotional attachment of trauma to all those things. So it makes total sense that there's this building of anxiety and fear going on. I um I commend you for, first of all, talking about this. Thank you for trusting us, and to be able to walk through it. Obviously, your husband has helped tremendous. Can we know his name? May we share his name?
His name is Jeremy.
Jeremy. Okay. Yay, Jeremy. High five. All right. Gotta give a shout out to Jeremy there. um, so you're processing, you're going through this, and then this natural occurrence of him dying, and that had nothing to do with you, and then all this healing. Yeah, right. And then all of this healing that automatically starts taking place. Like, I mean, not that you weren't doing that before, but this is so intriguing to me. And this whole time you're running. So, how did your running change? Because, you talked about Jeremy running behind you with the headlights on because you love running in the dark, but is very fearful. So now you're starting to run and get out there. What does it feel like now? Now that we fast forwarded a little bit and he's actually not there anymore.
Oh gosh. I mean, I'm still scared of the dark. Don't get me wrong. I probably will be scared of the dark till the day I die. But just freedom. Like,
Mm.
um, I could go on about the things that I love without fear of him lurking around the corner. Um, it was like weight have been lifted. Um, And so I could run again with joy, and just and enjoy, not just with joy, but enjoy, that, I love being outside. I love being in nature, especially like in, crazy enough, in like wooded areas. I love being in the trees. And so, like, to be able to do all that and not be fearful was just like,
Yeah. Just what you just did.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So tell me about one of these runs, because I noticed on your Instagram page you had a beautiful. Now you're not in the trees on this one, but you had just taken a trip to Vegas, I believe, and there's an image of you, and it's just vastness in front of you and around you. Tell me about that feeling of running now. What was that feeling like?
Okay, so as a solo woman, or a single woman, that, not, you know, being by myself, um, to go from being scared to leave, to now I was in Vegas and was like just able to randomly find this trail and to go run it all by myself, and to stand there and just look at, because if it's the picture I'm thinking about, it's the one that overlooked the Vegas Strip. Like
Mhm.
it, um, gosh, it's just so beautiful because you've got these desert mountains around you, and you're just this small person in this like amazing, beautiful world. And to experience it by running through it is, I think, a gift. You see so much more than you ever do when you're looking through the window of a car. So to physically be standing there in the dirt and just look out at all the different colors and the different shapes of the mountains, and even with the Vegas Strip in the background, it was just, it fills my cup in a way that I'm not sure anything else can. Um, it makes my soul soar.
Oh, wow, that is well said. Nature is very healing, I believe. I mean, it's one reason I love the trees so much. I find myself all through my life running around trees, and I grew up where I think you're located, East Texas area is, yeah, and so a ton of trees, lots of trees. So I know that feeling, and it's a wonderful free feeling. And so do you okay, so whenever you're running now, what are you somebody who runs like for distance, for time? Is it something that you tell me about, like a little bit about like how you feel about running? What is it, are you like a like, because some runners are real big on like, this day I run this, and they're very codified. And then there's some that are like the gentleman we had on last week, Yossi. He runs and he'll stop in the middle of a run and just look around and look at birds, and all his buddies are like, let's go, man. Oh, that's you. Okay.
So initially, like once I got going again, I decided that I might be fast enough to qualify for Boston. And so I spent, um, probably close to 18 months, like really training hard. Um, I'm talking like getting up at 3:30 in the morning so I could get my run in, which would always be some type of workout, before I started the rest of my day. And because that was so regimented and I had to work so hard, um, I don't do that anymore. And now, I mean, I have, like, I've ran a 50 miler. My next goal is a 100 miler. So I do have like, distant goals as far as like, but time, I don't want to be fast. I don't want to do 100 miles in 24 hours or anything like that. Like, I don't, time is not, it's not really my thing anymore. It's great for those that, but for me personally, like, I know I run for the joy of it. Um, I run because I like to. And so sometimes I don't want to run because, like, I don't want to have a prescription that I'm running, if you will. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I've done it, and it was fun, but it took a lot of work, and not just on my part, but my family sacrifice too, because I would have to go to bed early. I ate very specifically. There was just so much, like, I couldn't do things on the weekends because I was going to have to get up. I ran 6 days a week. It just was so much of my life that it really was a family project getting me to Boston. And now I run because I want to. Sure, I kind of have some rough, like weekly goals and things like that. And I'll throw some speed sessions in or some hill workouts. But, if I only have time for 30 minutes, that's what I do. Or if I have 2 hours free, I'll go run for 2 hours. I just, I let it fit into my life now instead of making it fit into my life or making my life fit around running. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at now in my running journey, is just doing it because I want to.
That's an uncommon story, but I'm hearing it more and more. I love that you did it one way, and you can do the Boston Marathon qualifier thing. You can do that, and she's exactly right, y'all. Your family absolutely commits when you commit, especially to an ultra, which is a longer distance. Excuse me, longer time frame. In some ways, it's well, all of them are commitments, but you're exactly right. It is a family commitment. I always say, whenever I see somebody who wins a lot of these events, or they're very, very good at them, and they're at all the events, I'm like, do they have a partner? Who's their partner? Who are their kids? I'm like, there's somebody there. There's a crew before the crew, So I like that you give a shout out there to your family. So this it almost appears like this journey of your running is a parallel of your life. Your running. It was very at the very beginning there. You were like, okay, let me see if I can do Boston. So it gets kind of strict. It gets really tight. It gets very narrow, and now you're very free with it, to the point where there's even another picture I'm thinking of that you're in, where you're sitting on a tree that looks like a chair. And yeah, and so obviously you do those moments where you stop, you're like Yossi, the gentleman from last week, you just kind of sit and you're looking around, and it drives everyone that you're running with crazy, but you get to go in there and have your moment, which is really, truly, I believe as well, loving trees, loving running. That's why we feel that. That's the benefit of it. We're there to exchange energy with one another, and I it sounds like that's exactly where your running has come to now. Even though you still have goals, it sounds like you have loose goals, and I love how you said it fits into your life now.
Yeah. And on that picture with me on the stump, had I not sat there, I wouldn't have been able to watch the beautiful butterfly that I watched for a few minutes. It was just fluttering about, but had I kept running, I would have never seen it. And yeah, so I do. I'm very much, when I'm running by myself, I will stop and just stand there. Or if there's a stump, I will sit on it, just to enjoy the beauty that's around me.
Wow. It's what a journey you have had, and you are on. So whenever you are, since you've been through this, I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase this. As you go through this process, do you find that you meet other people who have been through something similar to what you've been through?
Maybe not necessarily with the sexual abuse, but we definitely all have our story. We all have our thing that we're either running from or to. Um, I think, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jessica. It sounds like we can't hear you on the live. Can you say something real quick? Just sorry, we're testing this out.
What about now?
Oh, you can't hear her? Oh, she's saying such good stuff. Y'all, she's giving the secret of life. You missed it. No. And that's it. I'm the only one who got it. Do you want to try to go out and come back in again and see if we can pick up your audio?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah, yeah. Oh, guys, she is so good. I'm so sorry this audio is not working. Sometimes, we have technical issues. Sometimes this is how it works. I hope y'all are enjoying this. What a story she has so far. And, it's like I said, whenever you're out there running, everyone has a story. And as I remember, as I approached Jessica about coming on to the interview, she said something that several people have said. And a lot of times they say, well, what about, why is my story so interesting? Or why do you want to talk to me? I was just sharing with them, Jessica, that sometimes people are like, well, why do you want to hear my story? But and my point is because of this. This is why your story is important. This is why people need to hear your story because it's amazing. Okay, sorry. We'll test out the audio. You want?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. All right. Yay! Woo! High five. Okay, awesome. All right. So, now I've lost where we. Oh, do you meet people? Yes, that's what we were saying. Do you run into people? Literally run into people because you've been through this journey. Do you find that you meet anyone else who's been through a similar path?
Not necessarily similar as far as like the sexual assaults or anything like that, but just similar in the fact that like there was something big. Um, we all have our demons that we fight.
Mm.
And so, in a way, yes, I do meet people that have fought demons and have won against them. And I think that's one of the reasons why we enjoy the ultra running. Is,
Okay. I think did we lose her again? Are you sure it's not? I can hear her. Oh.
oh no.
I know. Let me see. I'm trying to I know. It works for a little while and then it okay, let me just double check on mine, see if I can hear.
Is it my connection?
Let me see. Okay, let me just double check on mine, see if I can. Go ahead, say something.
Is it?
Oh, I can hear her on here. Yeah. Oh, now. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna keep going. We're just gonna hope that it picks it up. Okay. Yes. So I'm so sorry. Let's try this one more time. Take three. Okay. So when you meet people on your journey, are you, yes, go ahead.
We are all fighting some type of demon or running from something. And I think a lot of times for ultra runners, like the running is a part of our healing. It's a part of like coming into our own, if you will, because it's we are in control. If you're out there for 8, 9, 10 hours, your mind's going to go to places, and you have to be strong enough to pull yourself back out of it and to tell yourself to keep going. And so I think that we all really and truly have that thing in common. Whatever it is, whatever that demon is, that I hate to say demon, but I don't know any other way to.
We get it.
So we all have that in common to an extent, I think.
I agree with you. I think, especially in the running community, there's even sort of a stereotype of, well, they're all addicted to something, running from something. So, and it's like, well, would you rather have a world full of people who are not dealing with things? So, yes, probably Joey says probably more parallels than you realize. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Jess, as we end this, as we get to the closing here, I want to ask you just a couple more questions. And one of them is this is such a powerful story that you've shared. If somebody is listening to this right now who can relate and resonate with this, what message would you have for them?
You're going to be okay. Sorry.
No, don't be. Don't be. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah.
You just have to find times to be brave. You don't have to be brave all the time, but find times to be brave. And you're going to be okay. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Even when you don't know really where you're going, just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. That's great. That's great advice. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I love your authenticity. Thank you for sharing that. Um, You see, you never know who you're going to meet, y'all, when you're out there running, and whenever you're seeing somebody posting on Instagram who's got these great running pictures, you never know what the story is behind it. I'm so grateful to know you. Um, I'm going to. Oh, and did we? If you want to find Jess, there we go. Perfect. Thank you, Joey. If you want to find Jessica, she is on Instagram at Just Runs Through Life. She's very cool. I reached out to her. She responded very quickly. She's very approachable. She's got some really good running. She runs all the time, y'all. So there's running pictures all over. It's great. I was like, ooh, that's another good one. Heart, heart, heart. Go throw her some love, y'all, and check her out over there. And so to wrap this up, we always ask everyone, when I remember, because there's been, I think, 3 people that I forgot. Yes, thank you so much for your vulnerability and authenticity. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful, Jess. I don't want to let you go. I'm oh, there's so much more here. um, we'll have to have you back on.
Definitely.
Okay, if you were to be a tree, Jessica, what kind of tree would you be and why?
Okay, I absolutely love the Pacific Northwest. So if I could be any tree, it would be one of the oldest redwoods. Um, they are a remarkable tree. They live for thousands of years. I don't know, many people may not know this, but they have really thick bark. And with the bark and the resin, it helps make them fire resistant. Um, so they literally can just stand tall and proud, but they don't do it on their own either. Their roots are really shallow and widespread, and so they actually help each other stand tall, because the trees grow really close, so the roots intertwine, and so there's not a single tree that stands on its own. Um, they rely on each other. So if I could be any tree, it would be a redwood.
Oh my gosh. That's that's beautiful. I find whenever I ask that question, people end up describing themselves. There's a little bit because they resonate with the tree and the qualities of the traits. And so that absolutely, you stand tall, you stand proud, yet you have relied on a community to intertwine your roots with to stand that way. And you're very resistant, you're very resilient. It's a better word, resilient, not resistant. Wrong R word. Well, Jessica, thank you so, so much for trusting us and making the time and coming on here. I hope that y'all reach out to Jess and go check her out on Instagram. We are going to put you in the waiting room, Jessica, if you'll just kind of hang out there for a minute and then we'll say goodbye to our audience. Do you have any last little parting words that you want to share?
This is something that I said to you that I've actually thought about several times, and that is everybody has a story that's worth sharing. And that's what I want to say.
100%. Absolutely. Y'all listen to that. All right, Jessica, thank you so much. We're going to go put you in the waiting room. All right, y'all, that was really something, wasn't it? If that resonates with you, reach out to Jessica. I'm sure she'd be happy to visit with you about that. And I thank y'all so much for being here today. If y'all want to be a part of this, or you know somebody who you would like to see interviewed, or a particular topic, or you yourself would like to be interviewed, because just like even Jessica said, everybody's got a story and they're to be shared. So go ahead and check out us on 100 for Trees, www.100fortrees.com you can it's /interview, or if you want to donate, it's /donate. So check us out over there, or send me a message through Facebook here, and go check out Jessica. Throw some love at all of this. We're going to upload this on our YouTube channel as well, which is at 100 for Trees on YouTube. And we have some shorts, we have videos, we have interviews of everyone who's been on the show. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you here next week. Thank you.